We spoke to 5 of the American soldiers who were at My Lai on March 16, 1968. They were James Berthold of Niagara Falls, New York, Gary Garfolo of Stockton, California, Gary Crosley of Del Rio, Texas, Bernardo Simpson of Jackson, Mississippi, and Michael Bernhardt of Tarpon Springs, Florida. Do you think the training contributed to what happened?
Well, this is something a soldier has to do, is to take orders and carry them out.
Like we used to have to run around yelling, kill, 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 just to get in our heads, you know, just to get that feeling that you can do it. But actually, when it come down to it, and you shoot somebody for the first time, you think about it, you think, you know, you took another human life. But then you think that it's war, you know, and that's the only thing that you could do, and it's either you or them.
One of the things is that when you're just being trained, when you've been inducted, okay, now you're being trained, there are some pointless things that you do. I mean, really pointless. So I mean, so what it does is more or less conditions a man to think that just because it's pointless doesn't necessarily have to be ignored. In other words, you still have to do it, even if they say and it doesn't make any sense.
Was there any harassment of civilians?
I don't know, like, a lot of the guys would sometimes beat up people and stuff like this here. I don't know why.
They would get killed by accident, and there were some rapes at times.
Like the way they handled a village or something like that, or somebody's running, there's a woman running, so they shoot her down. I couldn't imagine why she's running. Why should she run? After all, we only raped three women in the last village, and we killed an old man over there too.
Like when we're out there, we're staying just out on the ground anywhere, and you know, we go in a place and see a gook have a transistor radio, you know, and you know, maybe we might want to have one, so we just took it.
It was just something like the first protest, I guess, you know, the first time that anybody, you know, tried to say anything or do anything, you know, like, you know, don't burn my beard, or something like that. I said something about the old man that had something stolen from his house, and he was, you know, just trying to get it back, right? He was just following the troops around, following him, and he didn't go away. So they finally didn't want to be bothered with him anymore, and so they shot him.
What caused the harassment?
I don't think that the main reason was because of the booby traps and the mines.
He was New York. He was from New York by the name of Rocker. And he was walking, was walking point. I was walking in front of him. And I think I was about 10 or 15 feet in front of him. And I stepped in the same area he did. And as I approached this bush, I heard something go up and it knocked me down. So after the dust and all the brush cleared away, there wasn't anything left of him. He was totally gone.
We were feeling pretty down about all these people that were getting, you know, hit by these, you know, mines and stuff, losing their life, and there's nothing we can do about it, just sneaky stuff, you know, and a lot of us kind of want a little bit of revenge. We'd like to see them, you know, because they're always hiding. We always want to be able to see them and get into it with them, you know, like that.
We had to get led into the field by this officer who was supposed to be knowing where he was going, supposed to be reading the map, and he couldn't.
I don't know whose fault that was. Somebody, you know, something happened. We could have stayed out in the rice paddy, but we didn't. We ended up all up in the high ground in the bushes and everything. That's where the minefield was at. About 20 minutes after it happened, everything was over, they found a sign that was put there that the minefield had been laid about 2 weeks before.
Mines are tremendous. You know, I mean, if I were to ever start a revolution or have a war or anything like that in mines, not only, you know, you think that the physical effect is devastating, but the psychological effect is so much more so.
Intelligence reported that it was the people within this village that had been setting them. And the area had to be cleaned out. Whether it was done in the right way or not, I'm not to say.
On the night before the attack, your company commander gave a talk to the men.
Yes.
What did he say?
Well, he ran down the operation to us. He told us that we were getting there's going to be a mission, and we were going to be lifted in by helicopters. There was going to be security, and that we were going to go in there into the Pinkville, and we had a chance to get back for some of the guys that we'd lost in that area, that there were supposed to be Viet Cong in there. At that time, the intelligence reports said that they are in there, and they were going to be there, and that when we landed, that when the time of the operation, that there wasn't going to be any villagers in the area that were innocent, you know, that they were going to go to the market or go out in the fields. You know, the people that should be working, that work every day, are going to be out in the fields. The people that go to the market are going to be in the market. And if there's any VC in there, they're going to be there then. And that's, you know, we're going to really get some contact. It's going to be our first really, you know, good exercise, you know, and, you know, everybody was kind of keyed up and afraid and, you know, everything. And he told us to get all our gear and working condition and be ready, you know, to be ready to do battle.
Without any doubt, there wasn't anything else that the men could have picked up from it. Everybody had the same idea. They got the same impression from it. You know, this is going to be a free-for-all. You can shoot anything you want, anything that moves, as long as he's not one of your own.
Said shoot everything, man, woman, children, and the whole bit, everything that could aid the VC, you know, every living thing. That was sort of like the order from the way I heard it. And I guess some of the guys could have took it that way, and they wanted, you know, make up for anything that happened. They could do it then, and they might have just went off and did it. Some guys might have just flipped. And there's people that are capable of doing that under those conditions.
What in effect he said was that the village would be destroyed and all the people in it and so on.
The implication was
just to get rid of everybody.
And we had the night to think about it, you know, and that next morning we moved out.
Well, there was no certain age not to kill. There was everyone to kill. So that's what we did.
Well, when we took off, it was about 7:30 in the morning. We landed about 150, 200 meters outside of the village of My Lai 4. And we went in there, and just as soon as we'd hit, somebody started shooting, you know, into the village. The door gunners were shooting, and the Cobras and stuff up there were firing away and everything. I really didn't know what much was going on.
Was anybody shooting back?
I don't think so. I really don't. Because you know when somebody's shooting at you. Because there's a crack pop to the deal, you know.
We got in the village and phoned Captain Medina and asked him what to do.
And he said what?
He said that they were enemies, that this was a search and destroy mission and carry out our mission.
And your mission was?
Search and destroy.
Search and destroy.
People started getting killed and everything. And the guys just walking up there and shooting in houses and stuff. Just killing them.
How it started, I don't know. This was something that we were told to do, and we did it.
Did you do any shooting?
A little bit, but not much.
We made a sweep through the village, and there were older men and women. The children were gone, it seemed like. There were very few children there. And we swept through. That's all there was to it.
What happened during the sweep?
What do you mean, what happened?
People got killed?
Yes.
Without shooting in return?
Without any return fire.
Without return
This
fire?
is the type of thing that during training you're told to do. When you have a search and destroy, this is what your orders are to do. You don't question it, unless maybe you are an officer.
Would you repeat that, and would you say?
Search and destroy is a mission whereby you're given an area and you're to destroy anything in that area. After we swept through the village, we turned around, went back through it, and burned all the buildings.
Now, to destroy everything in a village means to destroy the people?
Right.
It was in My Lai, or something like that, And this afternoon, a week after, we had these orders. Our Captain Medina was telling us about we was going in and burn down and kill everything that was in the village. And that we would leave nothing standing. That's women, children, babies, cows, cats, anything. And that morning, about 7 o'clock, we boarded the choppers and we went into the village. And when we got off the chopper, we started shooting. And I remember from the first incident, as I was coming up on an area, there was a man got up with a weapon and ran into a hamlet. And this lady got up and she ran and turned, had her back turned to me. And my platoon leader, Lieutenant Cross, told me to shoot her. And I said, no, well, you shoot her, man. I don't want to shoot no lady, you know. So he said, well, I'm giving you a direct order to shoot. And if you don't shoot her, that you can be shot yourself. So as she was putting her foot in the door, I shot her about 5 or 6 times. And I went there and turned her over, and there was a little 3-month-old baby on the arms.